Hey guys, Matt here from the JaYoe Nation, here to introduce a few accessories for the DJI Mavic Pro that were sent to me by a company called FREEWELL. Now they sent me these products for free, so let me offer that right away. This is going to be an unbiased opinion though. Follow me to the end here because afterwards I'm going to actually take all this stuff into the field and show you how it works. Okay, so FREEWELL sent me 4 different categories of items. First, they sent me these prop guards. These are so that if you do in case bump into things with your Mavic Pro, you won't lose your Mavic Pro. Second, we have the FREEWELL bomb-proof case. This thing is as heavy as it looks, but it's also as durable as it looks, if not more. The great thing about this case is that it'll hold almost all that you need to fly your drone. You have, of course, the drone itself nested in a nice little pocket. You have 2 batteries. You can store your props. I have the charger. Pretty much everything that you would need to do to fly, charge your batteries, and fly again. It's insulated, it's soft, it's extremely durable, and I'm not going to go so far as say it's watertight because it doesn't say anywhere that it's watertight, but it's definitely shockproof. It's hard for me to show you in this video exactly how heavy this is, but it is very heavy. This is probably not for the backpacker. This is more for the expedition that's going out, loading up a Jeep and taking the drone with you. For that, this is perfect. FREEWELL has a whole series of ND filters, and I will go through these ND filters a little bit later. Hopefully I have enough light to actually test it out. The next item that FREEWELL sent me is very, very simplistic. That's it right there. Basically, it's 2 leg extenders and then the back end extender. What this is for is to raise the drone up off the ground so that you can fly it in higher grassy areas without bogging down the props. I'll show you what that does a little later. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna note this, I'm just straight above my head, 120 meters. And I'm gonna simply rotate around at the exact same angle, and then I'm gonna switch the ND filters. Now we're gonna do some fun stuff. I'm gonna find some places where we can try and intentionally run this into things, and we can test these guards out. So let's go. I don't think anybody would intentionally fly through this many trees, but you know what? I am. So I'm gonna test out a few different places. I'm gonna test out nature, trees, architecture, buildings, and art. And art will be a fun little ending to this test. Okay, so in this instance, I'm actually gonna test those landing gear as well. This is fairly high grass. Let's see if the drone can rise to the occasion. Okay, so what I have is obstacle avoidance totally turned off. So it can't see me and it can run right into me if I was to want it to do that. Basically what this thing does is it allows you to fly a little bit closer to objects that you ordinarily would try to avoid. But in this case, I'm going to try and hit them. Now you might notice that I'm not running into things straight forward. It's because the opening in front here is just wide enough. They'd have to have a tree trunk about the size of my belly, and that's pretty big. The interesting thing is the rear is a little bit closed more, so you can actually give it a little bump. I wouldn't go running into pedestrians on purpose, but if you do, it won't be the end of the world. Okay, so what do I think of the FREEWELL accessories? The first was this case. Extremely durable. Its durability sort of puts it in a category where I wouldn't say use it for a guy on a cycling tour or anything. Your backpack is much lighter and this would probably drag you down. But if you're on a driving tour or you're going to store this at your house and you want it to be safe, I think this case is the strongest drone case I've ever seen. I'll leave links for all of these items in my description. Next up are the drone landing legs, which you can see here and here. These elevate the drone off the ground slightly so that you don't have to launch it in grass that's a little bit too shallow. You can launch it in a little bit higher grass. I would say that this is very useful if this is the type of terrain that you're going to be launching the drone from. It does give you a little bit of distance. So I would say if that's something that you're concerned about, this is definitely a cool buy. Next up, the ND filters. Now these were really cool. I wish I had a little bit more time to play with them. If you're outside and it is really bright out, an ND filter can definitely allow you to pull the colors out of items a lot more than you might be able to otherwise. Not unlike wearing a pair of sunglasses allows you to kind of open your eye a little bit more and see more of the environment rather than squinting. So I would say that if you're needing an ND filter or you use an ND filter as a photographer, you'll understand the positive benefits of this. And the really great thing is that you can just pop them on and pop them off manually. You don't need any tools or anything, and you can even do it when it's in the air. It's really nice. Finally, we have the flight guards. Now, Like I said before, DJI has a pair of legs, but they attach the front to the back. It closes this gap, which is a positive, but it elongates each piece, which means that you've got to store these things or carry them around, and they're twice as long as, say, this item. These all fold down in 4 little pieces, and you can shove them in your backpack pretty easy. Whereas if you had the guards that were a little bit longer from DJI, I don't think you could do that. So there's definitely a concern there. Also like the fact that they have a little bit of shock absorption, so that when you bounce off of a wall or a statue or a tree, it doesn't rattle the drone as much as it could. I ran this headlong into walls, sidelong into walls, into trees, and into statues, and I would have to say that you do have to watch out for the gap in the front here, because if you do let a tree that's thin enough in, it'll get, you know, inside that area where the props are. The sides, this opening here isn't really wide enough to get anything in. Maybe if you had a fence pole or something, it could go in there, but you're pretty safe on the sides. The other thing is that these guards are not designed for you to go 100% full speed into any object and expect the drone to survive. These are made for a careful walk into a dangerous or potentially dangerous area where you might hit an object and trying to defend against hitting anything. It's not an end-all solution that you can just go rough and tumble with. You still got to be a smart pilot, but it does allow you to fly with a little bit more confidence that you're not going to hit anything. Overall, I'd say these are really cool items, especially for the beginner flyer. It might give you a little bit more confidence when you're flying in high grass and in some areas with a lot of obstructions, and in a place where you might be dropping your drone or your case. All of those are very interesting accessories to have for the newbie. For the experienced pilot, let's say you're flying in an area where you know you're going to be bouncing off walls or getting very close to certain areas, that's where this is very important. So it could be good for the professional as well as the amateur. Yeah, I'd say it's a thumbs up if that's what you're looking for. These do the job. They definitely do what they set out to do. Protect your drone, allow you to put an ND filter on your drone, allow you to bump into a couple of things without killing your drone at a medium pace, and allow you to get off of the ground just slightly so that you can take off from a little bit higher nap of grass. All in all, cool. This is Matt with Vlogging 101. If you're interested in these videos or you want some tips and tricks on vlogging and what vlogging is about, I update this series every so often. Please subscribe. Or if you want to see my daily life as an expat living in China, about to travel around the world, why don't you subscribe to my channel and view my JaYoe vlogs. Thanks again, take it easy, and JaYoe.